Hi everyone, this is Mike with FixMonster.com. Today I'm going to show you Malwarebytes Anti-malware. It's my favorite tool that I use to clean out spyware and malware infections on systems. And there's a link to download this to the right of the video here, so don't worry about catching the link. But whenever you go to download, it's not very big. It's only about 3 megabytes. I'm going to save it to the desktop here, so it shouldn't take very long to download. 3.8 megabytes. But once it gets done downloading, we'll run the installer and do a scan on this system, and we'll see what it finds, and I'll show you how Malwarebytes cleans the computer out. But I'll pause the video and come right back as soon as it's finished. Alright, the download just completed, so if we minimize this and go out to the desktop here, we'll see the MBAM setup program. We're going to go ahead and run that. And you can select your language here. Of course, I'm going to leave it on English. And this is pretty well like installing any other program. The defaults you'll pretty well stick with. You have to accept the agreement and just hit next all the way through. And once it gets done installing, it should pop up and it's going to ask us if we want to update and launch Malwarebytes, which of course we do. So leave those checked and hit finish. And it's going to start the updater. And the updates usually aren't very big. They're usually around 3 megabytes themselves. So according to your internet connection, it shouldn't really take all that long. And it should pop up here and tell us that it was updated successfully. And we'll just hit OK on that, and the main Malwarebytes window will open. Alright, and usually the quick scan scans all the main parts of the system that commonly get infected. If the computer is really bad off, you may want to do a full scan, but in most cases, if the computer hasn't been infected very long, you can go with a quick scan, and just leave it on that and click scan. And it can vary the amount of time that it takes to scan a system. This system, it's according to how many files are on the computer. I would say this one will take about 5 minutes. So I'm going to pause and I'll come right back as soon as it's done. Alright, the scan just completed, and we're going to go ahead and click OK and show results. As you can see, it found 3 infections, password stealers, so that's definitely not something we want on the computer here. Malwarebytes will also find and delete infections like Antivirus 2009, Antivirus 2010, Antivirus 360, and all the different variants of those type of infections, which are the ones that pop up fake virus alerts and try to get you to buy the Pro version for $49.95. But on this computer, we didn't have those. We just had a password stealer. But in any case, you go down and hit Remove Selected, and it's going to pop up a report, which has the details of all the files that were deleted and everything and what happened. And then most of the time, you'll have to restart the computer. Of course, you would want to click yes and restart the computer so it could delete any files that can't be deleted while Windows is running. But in this case, I'm going to click on no so I can show you one other thing. We could have avoided being infected in the first place if we would have had the Malwarebytes Anti-malware protection module installed, which you do have to purchase. It's not part of the free program, but it is only $24.95, and there's also a link in the sidebar next to the video here to purchase Malwarebytes. And if once you register, it actually installs a real-time protection module, puts a little icon down here by the clock, and it's constantly scanning the memory in the computer and making sure that you don't download any programs and infect your system in the first place. So you might want to check that out and install that. It's definitely worth the money. It's one of the cheapest anti-spyware solutions that you can buy, being $24.95, but it's definitely also one of the best solutions that you can purchase, so don't let the cheap price throw you off. And that's not a yearly price either. Once you purchase it, you own the license to it, and the updates come from then on. So check that out, and just to get the infections out of a system, the free version does a great job. So download that if you're having any problems, and make sure that you don't have any kind of spyware or malware infections. And then after you do get it cleaned out, you might want to consider the protection that you have to purchase. So hope this helped, and I hope you have your computer cleaned out by the time you get done running Malwarebytes, and have a great day.